We have volume this time. I'm not really sure. Refresh that. If you're on and you can hear me, let me know in the comments while I'm getting this set up. Hopefully that will fix it. Sometimes I just have to go out and restart. I'm not really sure what's going on. Yep, there it went. I don't know. I didn't change it. I changed absolutely nothing. Hey, Sheila. Hey, Christina. Hey, Carrie. Sound is back. Yes. I don't know what. I haven't done anything. All I did was flip the button and back and forth. Hey, Rosie. Hey, Pamela. Wow, we got a full house tonight. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry. The volume was doing weird things again. So hopefully people will find us. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. This is Tara with Tara Best Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in mid-Missouri. And tonight I've got another fall-based card using the Gathering Moments set. And you know what? I didn't pull the dies. I better do that right now. There they, nope. Oh, that's going to be a problem because they're not in their alphabetical location. There it is. It's in the often used set. Imagine that. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining. So tonight we're using Gathering Moments. I have another one of those fun pop out swing cards. So I absolutely love, hey Tana, thanks for joining from Kentucky. I absolutely love this fold and it's so easy, but it looks so impressive. Hey Amy, thanks for joining. It looks so impressive, but it's not hard at all. So we're gonna show you how to do this. Now, when I've done these before in the past, I've had a problem with this being plain. So on this one, I embossed the panel, and I'm going to show you, like normally, we'll go over that when we get to it. But we're going to go ahead and get things started. We're going to stamp out some leaves and do a little die cutting, and then we'll get the card put together. All right. And you know what else I didn't do? I kept thinking to myself, I needed to set out some basic beige to stamp on. Oh, and so I have the things that I'm using tonight. So I've got the Gathering Moments dies, the Gathering Moments stamp set. So this can be a bundle. You can save 10% by buying this together. You could have the Gathering Leaves embossing folder, the streaked dots, and the early espresso and early old olive linen thread. So this is one of my favorite sets. There's a little piece of Lily up here with me. So let's do some stamping. All right, so I'm gonna pull out some Cajun Craze, some Timid Tiger. I've got crumb cake with pecan pie, and then we're gonna do a little early espresso. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do some leaves first. I'm not gonna stamp the inside of the card because I'm gonna wait until I score that. So I'm just going to ink up the small leaf a couple of times. I'm going to do, there's a Timid Tiger. We're going to do it in Cajun Craze. Then we're going to do a couple of large ones. The large leaf image from the Gathering Moments set. So I think we're going to do that with Cajun Craze. And so what I'm doing is I just have a piece of basic white scrap that I'm stamping these on. Let's do an early espresso. And so normally when I'm working on a card like this, I'm going to stamp and die cut a little more than I think I might use because it's a lot easier to have it all ready than it is to go back and add more later. So just giving that a nice little clean. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out an acorn or two here. So I'm going to ink those up with early espresso. But then I'm going to open up my pecan pie. And I am going to take a sponge dauber. Oops, that's definitely not what I want. and I'm going to put it in my pecan pie. And I'm just going to kind of make that a little bit darker up at the top because we want it to look artistic, but not super artistic. Kind of cutesy too. All right. Kind of give a little two-tone effect here. All right. I'm not really sure where the weekend went. I don't know what it's like at wherever you are, but our weekend here in mid-Missouri, the temperatures were outstanding. We were in the mid-70s all weekend long. Gorgeous, gorgeous weather, but it truly made me think of fall for sure. And I'm not really sure if I'm ready for that. I love everything fall. I like the colors. I like the food. But I'm kind of a warm weather gal. So I know I'm kind of in the minority when it comes to that. So I'm bringing out my mini cut and emboss. I use this for the smaller images that I'm using. I have my big cut and emboss that I use a lot. Beautiful in Georgia. 2 people from Georgia saying the weather was gorgeous. That's awesome. So I use my mini cut and emboss when I'm cutting these little things. That way I can do it right here on my desk. And it's so easy. Just sling it on through. And with the mini, I don't normally tape things down. I normally just, although that one did just shift. As I said, they don't normally shift. And as soon as I said it, bam, it shifted. Murphy's Law, right? So yeah, my aunt had a auction yesterday, so we were there all day long. Friday night, Friday afternoon, Friday night, all last night, all today. I've been cutting paper, cut. For my product shares. The bulk of them are ready to go out and will go out in the mail tomorrow. So if you got one of those from me, thank you. Be on the lookout. They are on their way. Or they will be tomorrow afternoon. And that shifted too. I think it's because I'm trying to do 2 of them because I'm live here. And you guys don't want to watch me wheel this thing through 400 times. So the mini catalog in the September, I'm just usually calling it the September release. So, just because you've got your online exclusives, you've got your kits collection, and then you have the, well, that one shifted a little bit. Everything coming out in September. That all went live on Wednesday. I hope you guys got your order in. Everything is so pretty. And the online exclusives, like, I love the mini catalog, but man, the online exclusives, they're doing it for me. They're gorgeous. Christina, not a fan of shoveling. I get that. That's what I use my husband for. Although we usually just blow it. All right, so here's a piece of 5 1/4 by 8. And this is the inside. And we're just gonna score it at 2, 4, and at 6. So that's our regular, that goes on the inside. And then this is our regular 5 1/4, no, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 that we're gonna score at 4 1/4. So that's just our regular cut. Now, I'm gonna get that out of the way, and I'm gonna show you how to put this card together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this in half like you would a normal card base, because theoretically it is a normal card base. Okay, now I'm gonna pull out my Gathering Leaves embossing folder, and it has a piece of pecan pie that measures 5 1/4 by 4, and it's already embossed. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my card base, and I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to put seal on it. And I like seal because it's dry. Now, when I normally adhere embossed panels, I normally go crazy with seal and do it like 3 stripes of seal up and down, and then 3 stripes on each side. But on this one, because we're cutting out the center, I'm just being very careful to put seal around that block. So I'm going to line that up, get it as even on all edges, and I'm going to adhere it. Now I'm going to take my, if I can find them. Seriously, what did I do with them? Oh, there it is. I'm going to take my branched leaves and I'm going to use the 3rd largest branching out dies. And I pray that these stay around forever because I use them daily. Okay, now I'm going to set this on here, and I am going to go ahead and use a couple of pieces of Post-it tape to kind of secure it in place. I'm going to do it about there. So I've got it pretty even on the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to have to use my big cut and emboss. So hold on one second. Well, there went all tomorrow's kits for tomorrow's night's class. Great. Those just landed on the floor. Okay, now I'm going to be very careful because this does have a tendency to stick, that embossing. The Post-it note tape doesn't normally tear, but I found with the embossed panels, it does a little bit. So you have to be super duper careful. There we go. And then we're going to pull this one off. Now, normally I don't die cut after I emboss because that does have a tendency to flatten that embossing. But I will say with the 3D embossing like the Gathering Leaves is, come on, don't tear. The 3D embossing, it does, oh, I guess it doesn't matter if I tear that piece because it's not going to be visible. There we go. Now a little bit stuck, but it'll be fine. So it doesn't flatten it out nearly as bad as you would expect because of the how like detailed that embossing folder is. There we go. Okay, so here is our card base. Now I'm going to save this because I can definitely use that layer somewhere else in another project. Now here is my foldy contraption, and I should have a piece of designer series paper. Oh, here it is. I've got all of it saved nicely. So this is going to go right here in this center panel, but not after we stamp our sentiment. All right, so our sentiment is going to be just thankful for you, because that's, you've got to use something small and narrow so that you're simply remarkable. That has sentiments that are long and narrow. It would work really great for this card. So there's a nice little sentiment, and then we're going to go ahead and add a piece of designer series paper. So that'll be visible on the inside so that it's not just plain. So I'm just adding this up. And then we're going to score or fold. And let's see here. So I'm going to fold in for the old one. I'm going to fold back for the second one, or I guess it's the third one. And then I'm going to fold back again. So that makes your box that goes in there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and add my design, or my panel here. And let's see here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I made this card about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, well, I won't use it for this, but I can use it for my live next week. All right, here we go. There's that. Okay. So this is what it was. So this is on here. Here's your box. And now you can fold it shut. And we're going to add this seal just right here. And then a little there. Maybe a little there. We're going to fold it shut. So this creates your card base. All right. So pretty simple so far, right? Now, I have my layers that we're going to put in there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to layer these up, but not before I add my sentiment to that one. All right, so I have Many Thanks. This is from Gathering Home. I love this font. And I'm stamping that in Cajun Craze. And it's a little crooked, but it'll be fine. Just shows that it was handmade and made with love, right? Okay. So I'm going to layer this one up and put it on here. And then this is ready for our mechanism. So what we want is we want it to stay there when it pops open. So I'm going to leave it shut. I'm going to add my seal directly to that panel that we're going on. I'm going to line it up, and you want to make sure that it's lined up because there's not a lot of wiggle room and it'll get caught. So we're just sealing it right along there. And there we go. Nice little pop-up. Okay, now let's take our die cuts. And wow, this card is going together pretty well, and we're going to be done before you know it. Okay, maybe this is all I have. All right. I feel like I have an early espresso leaf too. Oh, leaf, where did you go? Dun, 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 dun. See, so you make extras so that when they disappear, you don't have to worry about it. So let's use a little liquid adhesive. Oh, Tana, I'm glad you like this fun fold. I gotta tell you, this one's a fun one for me. This one and double easel cards. So double easel cards have always been my favorite. But this one has quickly become a new favorite of mine. And I just started making it in the spring. I think this may be the third or fourth one I've done. But I really like it myself. I agree. It's fun. Okay, I'm gonna add that there. And then let's do maybe some Stampin Dimensionals here. You guys, I couldn't find any Stampin Dimensionals this morning. I went and I finally opened a new pack, and then I found all 3 packs or sheets just laying on my desk in the corner. I need a maid for my scrapbook room. All right, let's do that. Add a little bit there. Now, when I'm putting these close, I normally put my dimensional right on the card itself so that I'm not going to overlap too much. So I'm making sure that this is still, so I'm definitely doing it in the left-hand corner because if you put it in the right-hand corner, it's not going to have the clearance that it needs to open. All right, now let's add a little bit of linen thread. So I love linen thread, but This Early Espresso and Old Olive are really getting me in the feels. I love this stuff. So I'm going to twist it around my finger about 3 times and meet there in the middle. Yep, that's the way it always is. So I'm holding that, and I'm just going to snip a nice little piece right there. I'm going to feed it in here in between my fingers, and I'm going to tie a knot. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because once I pull the twine out of my fingers, I'm going to pull it really taut. There we go. A couple of pieces came loose. That's okay, because you got to have your loose portions anyway. And then I'm going to tie the knot. All right, and then I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to leave some of these. I'm going to cut some of them, kind of give it a little haircut. There we go. And then I'm going to take there it is, a glue dot, and pull it out here. Just grab my glue dot right there. And then it'll be ready to go right down there on the front of the card. I know I use tweezers sometimes, but not all the time, Mary. Mostly because I can't always guarantee I can find them. Because my desk, I get better results the messier my desk is. All right, let's do a couple of blings from the streaked dot set. And there is today's card. Love, love, love this fold. Doing some, here's an envelope. We'll get this ready. Now, I am doing a class the end of the month that's using this. If you're interested, go to my blog, get the information. We're going to do 6 different classes. I'm teaming up with Karen out of Creative Stampin' Design. And we've got 6 beautiful cards. There's a shaker card. There's a fun fold. Lots of really great cards using this set. You'll get to spend the afternoon with us, get some tips and tricks. Lots of fun. So check out my blog for that. There's going to be a Christmas class information coming out soon as well on my blog. So if you don't get subscribe to my blog, make sure you do that. There's today's card. Thank you so much for spending part of your Sunday with me. You have an amazing week, and we'll be back here next Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Have a great one.